Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm NEFC, this is Blue Lion CV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another Q&A live stream. Great to see all you guys here today. How you guys are doing? Ian O'Sullivan, great to see you here without the mask. Thank you, bro. And bro, I appreciate all the kind words you've been giving me recently as well too. Obviously means a lot as well, you guys. Yeah, I hope all you guys are doing well today. Of course, yeah. I do want to start getting back into streaming more regularly. I'm guessing you guys are enjoying them as well too. Just trying to do a lot more of these now. Hopefully do these Q&As like once a week as well, plus some more type of like live stream shows on top of that as well too. But of course, you guys, let me just shamelessly plug my latest video real quick. Of course, quick shameless plug. But as you guys can see today, I'm trying to do a little bit of a new series. Calling it, of course, What We Learned. Of course, George Benson did title his videos like that, but I'm trying to put my own spin on the What We Learned type of series. You guys know that I like my tactics. I like to go in depth with things. I want to give more like post-match thoughts as well too. So I just thought it's a great opportunity to, you know, try to talk about the game in a different manner. Try to put my own spin on things, put my own tangent on things as well too. As you guys can see, give you a quick little like glimpse of what it's saying. You know what I mean? I like to get into my tactics. I've got all the software ready now on my iPads. I want to do a lot more tactical segments for this year as well too, and just try to get better at it and just more comfortable doing it as well too. You guys giving me a lot of positive feedback so far, and yeah, if you want to get like a deeper insight behind the tactics, why Tuchel used the asymmetrical 4-4-2 system as well too, then you guys are coming to the right guy. But anyway, enough of the plugs. Let's get back to the Q&A live stream right now, you guys. Of course, I want to answer some of your questions. And I guess to start with the first one, I see one from Miracle Survivor. Very interesting name, I must say. I wonder what the story is behind that one. But regardless, your question is, who should we sign? Digne, Des, or Tagliafico? I think that's an interesting one. I think we can all kind of agree that we need to sign a left back or right back or both in the next week at least. You know, we've got big games coming up. We have Man City coming up as well too, Club World Cup, more games versus Spurs, etc. Now it's not the time to put this team under more stress. I'm looking at Marcus Alonso. If anything happens to him, you guys, I really feel like that could be that for our season, honestly. The guy's putting a real shift in my opinion. He's really I think it's been decent, to be honest. I think Alonso has been decent in these past few games as well too. He's becoming like that reliable, experienced figure that you want to see, to be honest. And I just hope that he doesn't get overplayed and overused. That's my main concern and fear. So Marina, Bruce Spark, the Boar, McCacklin, you guys get to work. Get to work for us. But regardless, I have my first super chat right here. Thank you, Simon, man. I really appreciate that. Yo, Nini, I've been waiting for the longest for you to do something like this. Oh, yeah, I used to do these more regularly before, but you guys, you know, I took my little hiatus just to try and get this like mental recharge for the channel. But I definitely think it's it was worth it in the end. I've come back and I feel a lot more hungrier. Of course, the views aren't necessarily the same, but to be honest with you, I'm not really thinking about that right now. I'm just focusing more on just like making the content I want to make, improving the stuff I'm doing already, improving the formats, and just thinking of even new stuff to make in the future as well too. So it's definitely like, I'm definitely like in a very hungry stage right now, and yeah, just want to just keep on working. I'm putting out good stuff that I want to be proud of, you know what I mean. But thank you, Simon. You'll see a lot more of these in the future, bro. Moving on to Mario Brandon. Are you worried we haven't done anything when it comes to bringing in a fullback this window so far? I mean, Mario, yeah, I'm slightly a bit worried because reports are still suggesting that the club haven't really finalized who the main target's going to be. Of course, there's talks that Dujon Sterling could be that guy. Talks that Emerson could be the guy as well, hearing that Tuchel wants to bring him back to the club. Digne, we know that West Ham have made a big offer. No, not West Ham. Newcastle made an offer for him. Inter Milan are interested. West Ham are interested as well too. But Digne is holding out for us right now. But nothing has been done so far to, you know, turn his interest into something more concrete. And I'm guessing the club right now, if I was to assume, might be just in a, you know, it might be in that business zone, just trying to finalize and figure out what is the most optimum deal to do in regards to price. Because we know that a lot of the decisions we make, the finances, the money has to make sense. And I'm guessing with Digne, I'm hearing that he's earning over 100,000 a week. You know, plus the loan fee from Everton as well too. That could cost a lot of money. And if Everton, if they long things out and they ask for an option to buy, you know, that's like on a permanent basis at the end of that loan spell, if the money is not good for us, maybe we could be forced into signing a deal that we don't necessarily want at this point in time. So I just hope that maybe the reports are old at least. That's what I'm really praying for. The reports are old and that there is the main option, the main target, and everything's being done right now to get this guy secured. Whether that's bringing back someone that we already have that's out on loan, or if that's, you know, signing someone else like Des, for example. His name keeps resurfacing as well too. He can play as a right wing back and left back too. Yeah, he's got some talent. He's a young kid. Tuchel does work well with young players as well. We'd have to see what happens. But thanks for that question, man. Moving on to the next one. Denny. We should go for Cucurella or Adama Traore. I'm seeing how well Cucurella has adapted to the Premier League. Honestly, I wish that I was advocating for a signing like this, to be honest. Of course, in the summer, when many reports and things were coming, I was kind of like, yeah, you know, this guy's like a faster Marcus Alonso, which, you know, which is not a bad thing. You know, imagine Alonso with pace. I think that's a pretty decent player, to be honest. But he's really taken well to the Premier League. Like I was saying when we played against Brighton, wouldn't it be so sick to have both him and Lamptey as like backups to Reece James and Chilwell? You have like a, you know, a top class, like, you know, top league class options on either flank, just like what Man City have with their options, you know, in defensive positions as well. So yeah, man, we have to see what happens there. But I do agree with you. Adama, I don't know, for me, Adama's not a wing back. I think that if we were to sign him as a wing back, that's like an absolute waste of what he can do. I think he's better than maybe people give him credit for. I think he's better further forwards, influencing the player a lot more that way. And I wouldn't see him being able to like go on his like, you know, those like, you know, destructive runs he goes on when he's just skipping past guys for fun. I don't think he'd be allowed to do that as a wing back playing for us. So yeah, we have to see what happens there. I'm going to answer some more questions. Let me find one. Nick Knack, still the best CFC channel, mate. Appreciate that, man. Clifford Lee, can you give us some news on right back, left back? And right now, I'm not hearing anything personally behind the scenes. I've not been hearing that too consistently. Of course, you know, I have been kind of off the things recently. Hopefully, I can get back to like hearing some of this like exclusive news as well too. But I think right now, I'm just at the mercy of what the press is handing out. And like they're saying, it seems to be a bit, we're at a bit of a crossroads right now. You know, are we going to be bringing back someone that we already own that's out on loan, or are we going to be signing like a Digne or someone instead? Let's hope that decisions get made swiftly. But moving on to Let's Play. Hey Nini, do you think we should promote youth rather than signing a new wing back? Less risky? Potentially. I mean, we don't know that Hall right now has been part of like the past few like match day squads. We have that game against Chesterfield this weekend on Saturday. It's a big opportunity for any academy guys to really just you know, impress Tuchel and show them, you know what, maybe it's worth giving one of these guys a shot in one of the next few games. You know, we definitely have good players. Ideally, you guys, I wish we kept Livramento and others, but I can't be repeating myself about that left, right, and centre. But like I said, I think Chesterfield is a great opportunity for us to really just assess how well these guys do play in the first team, because I'm expecting a lot of these guys to get minutes. I think it'll make a lot of sense. You know, we have the second leg against Spurs, and we have the game against Man City next weekend. And ideally for me, I want us to beat Man City. So moving on to, let me find another question. Justice Garner, nice to see you doing this for once. Yeah, man. Hopefully I do a lot more of these as well too. SFB, left back names aren't exciting. Someone like Traore would be on the right. Digne would be okay. Not crazy on Des, but decent potential there. Maybe throw Vel on that left wing back as a risk. I'm not too sure. I think Vel is much better further forward. I think that's really more his game. I think he'd be playing out of position, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. Deo, do you have a girlfriend? Yes, she's in the next room. She's saying that she might have COVID, so it's just been one of those, we've literally been self-isolating from each other the entire day right now. Like anytime we link up in the kitchen, we're both wearing masks. Just crossing my fingers, my toes and everything that she don't have Rona. Please make sure not have Rona, because I don't want to catch nothing, man. Please. But anyway, Anthony McDonald, if you're looking for some ideas on tactics videos, Statman Dave has some very good tactical videos. Okay, cool. I'll copy and paste that then and see what this guy's saying. Statman Dave. Cool. Thanks for that, man. Moving on. Let me find another one. Zach, any news on Des that you know about that maybe most people won't know? Nah, honestly, to keep things real, not hearing nothing right now at all. I do have another super chat. Sean Kenner, appreciate that, man. I think pay the money for Theo Hernandez. Thoughts? I think Theo Hernandez is a good player. I think he's good offensively. And I do think that with our system and how we play, you know, having someone like Rudiger behind your wing back, I mean, you know that is just protection in itself. Rudiger has excelled so much in just covering his zone and his books in that area. You know, seeing how he was playing against Salah, like, there's a reason why Salah doesn't really do much against Antonio Rudiger. You see, like the little slide deceptive tactics that he uses, the way that he gets so tight to his man, and the way he's constantly communicating, having that back and forth as well. I think, you know, defending, as I'm always saying, it's not just having like individual talent, but you got to work as a team. You have to communicate. You have to understand where each player is going to be. And with Theo Hernandez, he is a guy that does get goals. He does have that goal threat. Is he necessarily the best defensively? No. But I do think in a system like ours, where most times you're playing against teams that are sitting back, and you can afford to have that license against them, I think, for me personally, I agree. I think Theo Hernandez would be an exciting one. But realistically, if you're going to go for him, I think you have to pay even more money in January. You know, Milan, they don't want to sell their main guy at left back. And if you're going to sign him, I'd imagine you're paying a top premium to make that deal happen. So we'd have to see. But I feel like any move we do make would be maybe more economical. And I think maybe one player that ideally I wouldn't mind seeing would probably be Marla from Atalanta. The fact that he can play left wing back, right wing back, had good experience playing in the Euros as well too. Thought he gave a decent account of himself during the Euros. I think that Atalanta, I think we gave them Zappacosta as well too. There's potential here to possibly do some type of business with them. Let's see what potentially happens there. I think maybe that could be done. Wouldn't be too expensive if we are having to turn to the market to find someone. So I'm going to answer some more questions, you guys. Sako, does your girl support Chelsea? I eventually has to, otherwise she won't be my girl anymore, bro. Moving on, Al Hamza. What's been your favourite player you watched in Chelsea squad this season? One player I've really liked. I think probably Reece James. I just think the way he's just like excelled even more. Really showing even more like offensive threat, and just seeing like how comfortable he is playing now. Like you see these guys improving because you see how they express themselves in the game. You know, Reece James is a lot more comfortable now carrying the ball forward, you know, evading the press, taking men on. I guess that was always like a criticism that a few people wanted to see from him, you know, being more adventurous on the ball. And the form he's been showing with the assists and goals, I think, 5 goals, 4 assists, 4 goals, 5 assists, something like that. Ideally, I'm still praying, I'm still praying to see him and Ziyech down that right-hand side linking up again. Because I think with what we saw from Ziyech against Spurs last night, I think we were all envisioning this too. If we saw Reece James alongside him down that flank, wow. And we've got tiny glimpses of this under Lampard's final season. Before the dreaded December period came, injuries came, and all that momentum went. Hopefully that's something we can see again, because that would be exciting, you guys. Real talk. But yeah, I think he's been impressive. I think Mount's been impressive as well too, considering that he was starting the season with a bit of an injury with his teeth as well too. You know, I liked his performance yesterday. When I look at Mount sometimes, I think if we had signed him from like the Bundesliga, or if we signed him from Serie A or like Portugal or something like that, then suddenly his entire game gets like reinterpreted. Suddenly all the little pieces of skill he does, like his half-turn skills. Yesterday he has that little Eden Hazard back flick as well too. Little Cruyff turns here and there. He does everything at such a great pace as well too. And now he's starting to be more clinical now with the goals and the assists. I mean, he's leading. I think Jorginho is, I can't remember. But I mean, Mount is really showing that you know, he's one of those guys where every season he will be improving and improving and improving too. So yeah, you know, 7 goals already is pretty decent in my opinion. But moving on, Alex, yes, Alex. Yo, Alex, I was gonna actually ask you, Alex Amods, if you have me on Twitter, can you send me a DM or something? That's why I will know like who you are on Twitter. But moving on, MB7, do you think 4-2-2-2-3-5-2 setup could be defensively sustainable as a consistent system? I think for sure. I think, you know, it's very asymmetrical how we play. In my video I released today, I kind of break down how the whole like function of the system works. We have the players who can do that. And as I've been saying, all our attacking players, they're fit. And I do think now is the time to let some of these guys cook now. Let some of these guys express themselves. Let some of these guys play more. We've got a glimpse of what that could look like. And, as I keep saying, like Tuchel, how he sets the team up off the ball is completely different to what Frank Lampard was doing. Like, for example, when people might say, okay, Rudiger, he can only play in like a back three, he can't play in a back two. For me, I don't agree with that at all. And one of the main reasons behind why people believe that is because they keep applying Lampard's defensive structure to Tuchel's, when it's like, yo, come on, we've seen Tuchel the past 12 months now. Like, what him and Lampard do are completely different things. We saw Tuchel's use of a 4-4-2 yesterday, whatever you want to call it. You see how it evolved as the game was progressing. You see how it evolved depending on what the opponents are doing as well. You see how they were well drilled and well coached. I mean, it's just like a different level in that sense. And even though you guys know I respect Lampard a lot, I think one of the reasons why the club decided to just, make that hasty decision to let him go quickly was because a few seasons back, when we had the opportunity to get either like a Klopp or a Pochettino during a time when our managers were a bit indifferent and we kept them on, I think that was Jose Mourinho actually, we paid the price for that. And I don't think the club wanted to make that same mistake again. And, I definitely think that this new formation we saw yesterday, we have the players for that. We have the players, the squad that can do a lot of things. And, for me, it simply comes down to the fact that if you spend over 300 million on a new attack ever since Pulisic was signed, surely they should be taking like the spotlight. You know what I mean? So let me continue on, moving on. Raphael DC, enough love, bro. Big up the channel. Respect, man. Respect. Without the mask, hey man, how can we get the best out of Havertz, who is halfway into the second season? I think having a consistent role actually helps. And how he played yesterday, I felt like he was able to be more involved in the game. That's one thing I've been speaking about before. I want to see Havertz more involved, not playing on the periphery, not being the one who has to make space for others to move into, not being a guy that's acts as like like a very mediocre target man, where most times when pressure's being applied from him from behind, he is losing the ball. If you're investing this type of money on a player that's been called like the German Cruyff and has all the top legends back in Germany really raving after him, we did something right to sign this guy to begin with. But I feel like for a while the system hasn't necessarily got the best out of him. Playing how he did yesterday, where he's the guy who gets to play deep off of Lukaku, I want to see more of that. And I do think that Kai and Lukaku, in theory and on paper, could have a very good partnership and relationship. But I just think that to build that, we need to see more consistency with personnel being used up front. That's what we have to see. We have to see them playing consistent games. You can't be using different lineups every single week and expect the players to have this type of connection. I think it kind of slows things down a little bit. But anyway, I do have a super chat. Tolu, thank you, man. Hey, Nini, good to see you. Hope you are in a better space now. Do you think Tuchel will be encouraged to play back four after yesterday's performance? I'd like to think so. The fact that Tuchel decided to use that formation, it was a last minute thing. It was based on the fact that both Kante and Thiago Silva, it was announced very late that they both picked up COVIDs. And what I found really impressive is that the team barely had any time to really just maybe, technically get used to this new formation. But because it kind of like encapsulates and translates all our previous tactical work we're doing in like a back three system, with top players as well too, who have top understanding of the game, it just goes to show how quickly these guys can adapt and make things work and happen. I think when Tuchel took over, actually, it was the same thing. We played in a back three system. It was like an instantaneous thing. He didn't need like a few weeks to make it happen. I think that really told me immediately the level of the players that we possess in the squad too, and just how good of a manager Tuchel is at just like, drilling and coaching the team into playing and doing what he wants. And like Falcon saying, man, we have all these attacking players right now. They aren't injured. They're fit. This formation at least is a good way to get the best out of them and to use them. For a long time, my main criticism, not that I hate Tuchel or nothing, but you guys know that the main thing I focus on really has been how I feel like the attack hasn't really been able to excel on that like individual nature compared to like the attacking players I'm seeing playing for Liverpool, playing for Man City, etc., etc. A lot of that came from players not playing in their best positions. And I'll use Ziyech as a prime example. I've been saying for a very, very, very long time, I think over 12 months now, we've based him playing down the left, playing as a cam, playing as a false nine as well too. When his best position, as you saw against Spurs, is on that right hand side as the free man. Use these guys in their best position and you'll see what they can really do. And I'm hoping that we can do that a bit more. I think more players can benefit from this. I look at Pulisic. I look at the game yesterday against Spurs, and I really wanted to see Pulisic playing down the left-hand side and not Timo Werner. You know, I'm disregarding the fact that Puli had to end the game as a right back because Aspie came off. I just mean before that incident happens, you know, you got Timo Werner down the left-hand side receiving. Imagine if that was Pulisic down the left. We saw what he did on the Frank Lampard. We saw the goals he was getting. We know what he does on the half turn. We know what he does when he gets past his man as to how direct he is and how completely different his game is. Just little details like that, I feel like if certain guys could play in their best positions, we'd see even more. Mount, I thought was good yesterday. I like when he plays that role in midfield. You know, he receives some deep, he progresses the ball, he creates, he starts the attacks as well. You know, this guy can do so many different things. This literally doesn't make any sense. I'd probably say Ruben as well too. When I saw him and Cover, like I want to see Ruben down the left and Cover down the right hand side. I think that's where they both play best. I think Ruben on the left hand side, he's able to actually shoot with his right foot. There's like completely different shooting angles that open up, which you don't get playing on the right hand sides. Little details like that, and if I can see that, then it's going to be very exciting. But let me find some more questions. Thank you for the super chats, you guys. Moving on to Mohammed Mustafa. Who's your dream attacking signing if any one of our current ones leave? Keep it realistic. Ooh. There's two guys I really like. I like Anthony from Ajax and I like João Felix from Atletico Madrid. I think João Felix, ooh, if we could get a deal like that done, like I said, can you imagine him playing in this system? I love players who have that imagination, you know, that type of ability that you just can't coach. You know, you just have to trust the player. They're on such a different level to Morris from like an individual like talent point of view that, you know, you can really just coach them to maximize their skills and talents. I mean, again, if it ever happens, it'll be out of this world. But I really like João Felix. But I do have another super chat. Thank you, Saeed. Hey, Nini, what's your summer transfer actions with loan players returning and positions to fill? That's a good one. Now, guarantee, of course, there's 2 loan guys I want to see in the squad for next season, and I'll probably do a video on this to get into more detail at a future point. But those 2 guys are Conor Gallagher, Levi Colwill. Instant, simple. Levi Colwill, outstanding young defender. He has everything ticked off, every ability and quality you would want for a guy who has that level, that ability to play for us. You know, the fact that we produced him from our academy from absolutely nothing, as I keep trying to say, we need to take confidence from the fact that we produce elite talents. And when you constantly produce elite talents, you have to use them. You know, there's a reason why these guys always perform and make things happen. You know, it's not a case of maybe a few years back, you know, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, where it was quite indifferent. You know, we still weren't too sure. The entire strategy has changed now. Clubs across Europe, they understand the level of players we have. I actually think the strategy they have now is to try and sign and entice these guys from in their teens, knowing that they cost absolutely nothing, and knowing that when you sell them on, you're gonna like literally like quadruple, you're gonna just exponentially just like boost your profits in the future. You know, Southampton, when they sell Livramento one day, you know he's going for 40-50. If Lamptey ever leaves Brighton, you know he's going for minimum 30-40 million as well too. I can keep going on, and I think for me, Levi Colwill, considering like the talent we produce, centre backs, you know, like Tomori, he's playing at a Champions League level for one of the best clubs in Serie A for AC Milan. You're looking at Mark Guehi, one of the most underrated young defenders in the Premier League right now, who's showing just from the stats that this guy is performing at a very high level and he's adjusting easily to the demands of the Premier League. You know, look at Trevor Chalobah, like he's always had the talent, and the fact that that's been utilised and harnessed, but benefiting from that now. And it's just like under previous management, he would never get that opportunity. And literally, we've just saved ourselves how many millions, because look at the level this guy's playing at immediately. And at his age, he's only going to get better. When I tell you that me personally, I think Levi Colwill is the best one we produce out of all of them, considering how good these guys are, The level these guys are playing at a very young age. They're all under like 22 years old. For me, you don't wait for him to, play 3 more loans. You fast track him in instantly. And if you do that, he will literally exponentially improve. It will happen so quickly. He has to come back. He can add to the team, just like what Trev does. This guy's one for the future. And Conor Gallagher, like I said, I want to see 4-3-3 next season. I want to see more goals in the team as well. Gallagher's proving that he has the ability to press from the front, win balls further up, and get goals, and start attacks, and create as well too. You can't ignore talent like that. And I don't want this guy signing for a Man United or a Liverpool or something, because you best believe that those clubs are looking at what he's doing, and he'd be the guy they'd sign. So they're the 2 lines I want to see. In defence, it depends on guys who leave, to be honest. But, QnA, I'd imagine, would probably be a deal that gets done in the summer. And in attack, it depends on who leaves. Werner goes if players like, I don't know, like a Puli or a Ziyech or someone decides to leave. And for me, I like Anthony from Ajax. I think this guy's a great player. Who knows? João Felix could entice him. I feel like Atletico Madrid, potentially, there could be business to be done there. Who knows? But that's an idea of some of the guys that I like to see come. And of course, the main one, of course, has to be Tchouaméni. I have to see Tchouaméni here next season. The guy's outstanding. I put you guys onto this guy. For me, this guy is literally like, he is the player that we always sign. We did it with Essien, we did it with Kante, we did it with Diarra, Lassana Diarra, so many of these guys. Mikel, he is that profile we signed. This guy, for me, has to be a Chelsea player one day. He will give us the ability. Gallagher and Tchouaméni coming in, wow. On top of the midfield players we have already, it's going to be absolutely unreal, to be honest. But thanks for that question, Saeed. Got some more super chats. SFB, been watching for over 5 years now, or close to it. Throwback to Conte out days. Personal take, needs new Gallagher and second mid to challenge for the title. You're 100% right, man. Conor Gallagher, who has a chance of being one of the young players of the season, coming into the season. Just the impact he's having at Crystal Palace is just out of this world. And I think for me, Tchouaméni, I think Declan Rice is elite. The guy will be world class. But I think that Tchouaméni costs less money. And he has the personality, the profile, the way he plays. For me, like I keep saying, like, this is a guy we always sign, and I hope we get that business done. If he goes to any other club, he's improving them and taking their midfield to another level. We can't miss out on that. We can't, in my opinion. So, bro, I appreciate that. 5 years, Conte out days. Like, seeing that win yesterday, this is exactly why I wanted Conte out. I respect what he did, of course, but for me, it's just the nature of the football. It was just too, like, weak, It was too unassertive. It was just like, we didn't force anything to come. I just didn't like that style of football. I just felt like it was too limiting. It was a style where you're never, ever going to improve from that. You're never going to go to the next level. And you guys know, like, for me, when I watch guys like Lampard, Drogba, Ballack, like, these are like the glory years, yeah? I witnessed that. I watched these guys play live. The quality, the class, the way they played, I still compare and judge players to this day to that. And that's what you do as a fan. You compare every player to the very best teams you've seen. And for a team like us, like I'm saying, if we're going to spend all this money, do all this like big club talk, the ambition has to be the very best club in Europe. Not one of the best, to be the best. Because there was a time where we were the best team in Europe. With your Drogba's, your Lampards, your Terrys, your Coles, we were. And we have to get back to that level. And I think we're not far from that now. The fact that the club have done an incredible job with the academy, producing actual talents that can actually play for us, which implies that they can play at a top 4 level and compete to win things. We're harnessing that right now. We're reaping the benefits from that. And it allows us to spend maximum money on the very best players in different positions. I think that's an amazing place to be in right now. We have to continue there. And yeah, man, you know what I mean? I feel without your Gallagher's, Tchouaméni's, that really puts us on that platform to get back to that level. So thanks for the super chats. I think, was there any more super chats I missed out on? Need to have a little quick look. Hope I ain't missed nothing out. But okay, I do have one. Shivang, hey man, hey Nini, you're in and out players for next season. Continue your great work. Thanks, man. I think some of the ones are fairly simple. Alonso, even though I respect what he's done now, we need to get better competition for next season. You know what I mean? I think Aspie, incredible servant, but I think now is the time where you can afford to let him go now. I'm looking at players like in midfields. You know, Barkley for sure has to go. Probably even Jorginho. To be honest, I mean, I rate him. I like him a lot, but I do think that if you're signing Tchouaméni, then that doesn't mean that you're going to be playing him with Jorginho. I think then Jorginho, if he stays, will be an incredible, obviously, member of the squad. And if you're going to play 4-3-3, you need to have 6 midfield players of top class ability. You know what I mean? And they'll constantly rotate, constantly play. So I'm not even like get Jorginho out. I can't stand him. I've never been part of that group. Everyone forgets that during Sarri's first season, I was defending Jorginho like crazy. So, you know, I'm definitely not part of that brigade. But I'm just thinking now, listen, we've got an opportunity now to start planning for the future, preparing for it, and just trying to evolving our style of play. We got glimpses yesterday night of what that could possibly look like. I think we all envisioned, okay, if we had the right players for this position, that position here and there, things look pretty exciting. Moving on to Kanish. Hey man, do you think Hudson-Odoi would benefit from a 2-year Dortmund loan? You know, personally, I was kind of hoping that he left during the summer, because if he did, he'd be playing first team football for Dortmund. And I do think that playing in the Bundesliga, a league that has a lot of space for you to play in, a league that is very pro-youth, that gives time to them, and is an offensive league as well too, I think it does have a really good effect for young attacking players. One example I look at is Amari Gray. After that loan spell from Leicester City to Bayer Leverkusen, you know, he came back and he's been pretty decent at Everton so far. He's scored some great goals, had some great involvements, been one of their main threats, especially in the counter-attack this season for them. And at the time when he was kind of struggling at Leicester, you know, you see some of that indecisiveness. You see some of that, you know, you don't see that full confidence in their game. And I feel like just that half a season he had playing for Leverkusen, he's come back to the league. He looks completely different, completely confident. I think that's the power of what we can do. And it's just like, you know, if you had an opportunity for this guy to be playing week in, week out, setting up Haaland for fun. I mean, imagine the confidence he's going to have. We could have used flipping Hudson-Odoi as a little scout as well behind the scenes to try and entice Haaland. But I don't know. Anyway, thanks for that question, man. Getting back some of the questions in the chat right now. I'm going to scroll back up a little bit just to see. Okay. Got a few questions. What am I going to pick? Tebow, in my opinion, we should build our attack like Liverpool with the creative CF and goal-scoring wingers. What do you think, Nini? I think now that we have Lukaku, he can kind of do both. We can't forget that this guy had really good assist stats at Inter Milan. I think double digits for goals and assists as well. So, you know, Conte himself said this. Lukaku is also someone that can make and play the right pass all the time, which he's shown time and time again. So we're fortunate that we have a striker that can do both. I just think that, you know, playing some of these wingers in their best positions, like that personally, I'd probably sacrifice Timo Werner. And I say sacrifice, not because he's a terrible player, but it's because, you know, you've got Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi that would benefit a lot more playing on the left-hand side compared to a Timo Werner. We could reinvest that money from him into a midfield player, into defenders, and, you know what I mean, kind of just like revamp the squad and make like smart acquisitions here and there. I think that would definitely be the thing I do, because, you know, Pulisic, he's impressed me with the guy's willingness to defend now, which I didn't think it was really about. I never thought he was really about it until these past few games. And like, I remember his season at Lampard when he got double digits for goals, and some of the goals he scored in his involvements. It's just like, he hasn't really ever had the luxury in like nearly 2 seasons now to be able to play in his best position and really show what he's about. And I think that when you're a young player, these like formative years are really important for you to be able to, you know, improve, to get that confidence in your position and to master it in that sense. I think when you're playing here, there, it doesn't really benefit you. And like, it reminds me of this interview from Sterling's agent when he left Liverpool. Like at the time when he went to Man City, you know, the whole country and press was against it for some absolutely baffling reason. The fact that the guy at 19 was ready to go to the next level or next step tells you everything you need to know about his ambition, and look at everything he's achieved since. One of the criticisms they had before leaving Liverpool was the fact that that season under under Rodgers. He played left wing back, he played right wing back, he played up front, he played on the wings. You can't build any momentum. You can't build any consistency. It just doesn't help you out in the long term. And they understood that. So that's why they signed for Man City. And look how he's benefited and grown ever since. I just think it's details like that, to be honest. But moving on, I do have another super chat. Thank you, Philippe, man. You guys, just to let you know, if you do send any super chats, just double confirm that you've got your messages in there before. It can be a bit confusing. I've made the same mistake myself when I'm like watching other people's streams and trying to like send in super chats too. But just be careful so I don't like, you know, miss the opportunity to answer your questions basically. But moving on, let me find some more questions. Alex Cole, learning from Thiago Silva would be better than any loan, 100%. And it's like, you know, just because you're young, you're not in the same category, you're not in the same family, you know what I mean? The quality is the separator, you know. That's the quality that separates the very best from the goods. It's life, we all know this, and Colwell is part of that top class category where he has the potential to be an absolute world-class defender. So listen, he benefits early, learning from your Thiagos, learning what it takes to compete at the top, learning from your Rudigers and others. I mean, you're preparing yourself for the next 10 years plus, in my opinion. I don't think he needs another loan. I just think it'd be a waste of time, to be honest. Moving on to Jazil Harris. We need to buy someone this month, Nini, for left back, preferably from this league. I know who you're implying. I know you're implying Digne. I guess we have to wait and see because reports are still a bit inconsistent. Some reports are suggesting that, you know, we might be looking to bring back guys that we've left out on loan. Some reports are suggesting that, you know, there's other targets like Dest and Digne we're still looking at. All I know is that it's 6 days into the new year. I'm hoping by the end of next week. I was hoping before the Man City game, way before, that we've got someone signed now. So it's a bit frustrating, but we have to wait and see and hope that the club's working overtime now because, yeah, we can't be letting any more players get in overburdened now. But anyway, Philippe, hey man, hey Nini, what do you think about the Club World Cup? Have you already started to study the clubs in it? Fan from Brazil, thanks man. I do know, of course, Club World Cup, of course, is an opportunity. Like, you know, of course, it's in Dubai. I guess we're gonna find out, you know, how much the tickets will cost. Like, you know, like back when the Club World Cup was being announced in Japan before COVID just ruined everything, I was really, I definitely would have gone there because I've always wanted to go to Japan. I was literally mentally ready to prepare to go there. It's a shame that wasn't to be the case because how often do you get to compete in Club World Cups? I'm hoping that the next time it's not going to be too far away, to be honest. But yeah, of course, I haven't done all my research just yet. I'll be doing that soon. I want to get like a good breakdown, give you guys like a good preview behind who the clubs are, who their best players are, a brief idea of how they play and what to expect. But I guess the reality is that we're all kind of hoping and expecting that we go there to win and secure it. Like, I still have some nightmares from that time we lost against Corinthians. Like, I remember that that Fernando Torres missed right near the end to like equalize the game. Like that's what I mean. Like Torres, yeah, I respect that he scored the goal against Barcelona and a few other goals here and there, but for me, some of the misses were just too criminal for me to ever really forgive him, like fully, to be honest. But yeah, man, don't worry. I am going to be doing my research really soon to find out. But moving on, Harrison. Yes, Harrison. What you saying, bro? Long time. Ziyech unleashed at right mids, right wing back like Tuchel used him last game. I mean, I think that's it, to be fair. I mean, I don't even look at like necessarily it being right back, right wing back. You know, we're playing in a very asymmetrical system. So it's a 4-4-2. But depending on just like the context of what's happening in game, then the role of the player does change. And like I was trying to say in my video before too, we see in lots of tactics with lots of managers that when their team is defending, a lot of times the winger will track back to help out the fullback or help out the defender. It's just how it is. So I didn't think Ziyech was doing anything too alien because he wasn't playing as like a right wing back who had like the license to attack. He was just coming back in the defensive phase to do his part for the team. For me though, it was how he created the space, made him the free man down the opposite flank, which is really key. And I want to see more of that because I know what Ziyech can do. And like I know that people talk about players like your Rafinhas, etc, but as I keep trying to say, look at the details of how these guys play. Rafinha is not a back to goal type of player. He's not a guy that zips between the spaces. He's like a Ziyech. He's like an Anthony. You need to isolate him as your free man out wide, and then let him cook. He can cut insides. He can go on the outside. He can put across from the half space. He can shoot. He can roam in. You know, players like that, you have to make the space for to get them to their very creative best. And I do think that now is the time to really embrace some of the individualism that we have in the team. I do think a lot of times it has been team of individuals, which is great, but just having that balance and knowing when to utilize it here and there for me is the best course of action, to be honest. But you know, Ziyech, it's not the, I mean, we know that he can play the ball, we know that he can pass it. I think now the system clearly is helping him, clearly is favoring him, and I'm hoping that we see a lot more of this, to be fair, because like I said, man, the way we're coached and drilled under Tuchel is at a very elite level, and like I said, the way the players are easily attuned to it speaks very highly about what's happening at this club right now. But appreciate Harrison, man. Appreciate that, bro. Moving on to President Jafar. Which academy players would you like to see get a first team opportunity next season? I think the only two I want to see, Conor Gallagher, and I want to see Levi Colwill. Like I said, Levi Colwill for me is the future. Let him train with your Thiago Silvas, your Rudigers. Give him the appetite for how to compete at a top 4 level, and you know what it means to win. I mean, like he already knows, for God's sake. I mean, all these Cobham guys, I mean, they graduate winning already. I think that's why all of them really find it very easy to then translate their game into the first team. Like, name one Cobham player, you guys in the chat. Who's one Cobham player that has struggled in any debut or any minutes he's been given? It doesn't happen, and there's a reason behind why. And I think we have to really just respect the level of coaching that we give these guys, and the roles that all the coaches at the club do as well too. I mean, we kind of like, it's, you know, like how the Spartans back in the day, like how they were training the children from young to be ready to be warriors, to fight for them. I think that's basically what we do at Chelsea Football Club in Cobham. You know, from kids, these guys know what it means to win, what it means to compete, how to be professional, how to master your craft. We know that we're like one of the best finishing schools in the country. We know that when scouts are like, you know, looking to bring players to Cobham, the reputation as it is that, you know, if you're a good player, you might go to Southampton, you might go there. But if you're an amazing player, you're going to go to Cobham and you're going to go to Chelsea. That's how it is. And you can see how we benefit from that years into the future, you guys. And this is why we got to keep on getting that conveyor belt out there. Like honestly, at this point in time, it wouldn't even surprise me if one day, before 2030 comes, I believe one time we'll see one lineup full of just like Cobham grads. I think we'll see that in the next 8 years, 100%. One day, even if it's just like because of injuries, whatever, there'll be one time that the entire first 11 will consist of Cobham grads. Actually, no. The entire outfield players, because I don't see anyone in goal replacing Mendy or anyone else, to be fair. So only outfield players will consist of Cobham guys one day. But anyway, moving on to some other questions. Thank you guys for the super chats, man. I really appreciate that. Looking at some more. Okay, Christian Cabrera. Yes, Christian, how you doing, man? Great that you've come on to join the stream. Carlos Nini, how long do you think Tuchel will stay here? I'd like to see how long-term managers here finally. Thank you, man. I mean, honestly, I think it really comes down to Tuchel. I get the impression that he wants to be here for as long as possible. He's got the opportunity now to not only win, but to create a team in his image, you know? Like, it's a rare opportunity to be able to, like, be managing one of the best teams in Europe, who at the same time have a lot of young guys who are still growing, still developing. And it's like you can really become part of a dynasty. You can really just, like, you know, play your part in that culture in that sense. And I know that Tuchel, you know, he's very realistic. He understands, listen, if I'm not performing, I'm at the mercy of the club saying, okay, adios, goodbye. But I just don't see that happening right now. I just think that he's doing all the right things. How he manages the squad, how the players like him as well too, how he deals with controversies very easily. He doesn't put too much stress or importance on them as well. You focus on the most important thing, and that's football, and that's winning games. And I think with that mentality, that's all the board really ever asked for, to be honest. So I'd say feel optimistic that maybe Tuchel could maybe even outstay Mourinho's time here, but she's not too far from. You know he's going to be here next season. And I guess that's the decisive one. If we do big things in the 22-23 season, best believe that Tuchel won't be leaving for a good few years then. But moving on to I think I already answered that one. Thibaut Thomas. Okay, I've answered that one already. I need to scroll down a bit. I think I've gone up too far back. Apologies. Robert, we need a fluid player up top to partner Havertz. Lukaku seems to be not the perfect fit in the new system. He made very few touches and was not involved very much. We should get Rafinha for this role. I'm not too sure, to be honest, because if you're getting Rafinha, you're not going to get him to play as a cam. You won't be playing down the left wing. You're playing him down the right hand side where he'll compete against Ziyech. And in my opinion, they're kind of the same profile. So unless Ziyech is like, okay, I'm gone, Barcelona are giving me an amazing opportunity, I'm not going to say no to them, I can play here consistently, then I'd understand if we made a move for him. But Lukaku, he can do that. He can. You know, we have a habit sometimes of like solely judging players based on what they do for us and like completely ignoring and just not caring about what they were doing at their previous clubs. And Lukaku is one of the most mobile strikers in Europe. You know, he's proven that at Everton. United use him awfully. They didn't get the best out of him. That's their business. But at Inter Milan, we saw how mobile this guy is, and we've got glimpses of that mobility here. For me, I think it comes down to like finer details. It comes down to having to like build relationships now with your partners alongside you. You know, when he was playing with Lautaro at Inter Milan, they had a connection like that. It was very telepathic. They knew exactly what they had to do, when, here, there, etc., etc. I think it's hard to build that when, number one, you didn't have a pre-season with us. Two, you're still getting used to the tactics. You know, slight injury issues as well too. So it's definitely slowed things down. But we're definitely not near any stage right now to be writing Lukaku off for not being mobile enough, for not being fluid enough, etc., etc. I think sometimes you just have to be patient, because in football, things don't just like tick instantly. Sometimes they do, but most times they don't. But anyway, let me continue on to JR. What do you think is the best front three right now? I would love to finally see a consistent front three instead of having constant changes. I would say Pulisic, Lukaku, Havertz and Mount. Now for me, I think front three, I think I'd have to see Mount there. I mean, number one, he's our leading goal scorer. Number two, he applies the tactical sides incredibly well. I think he's actually, out of all the players who's played under Tuchel, he's been the only one to really be able to like really play in Tuchel's system. I think he has all the qualities. You know, he's very good in tight areas, very good upper body strength. I've seen this guy body Fabinho. We saw this guy body QnA as well against Liverpool last week too. He can shoot from distance. He can apply the set piece ability too. He's always going to be my first guy in the team. I guess, it's a hard one. I'd probably say Mount, Lukaku and Ziyech. But then it depends how you're using Ziyech. And then at the same time, I also think Mount, Havertz and Lukaku. But then sometimes I'm thinking maybe like Pulisic on the left, Lukaku up front and Ziyech on the right. So it gets hard, you see? It does get hard. And this is why I'm an advocate for 4-3-3. So at least Mount could be back in midfield, which means that we can have another attacking player, which means we could have like a Pulisic, Ziyech, I don't know, Lukaku up front. You got your Mount in behind, maybe Havertz playing as a box-to-box too as well too. And then, you know, you've got whoever you have at DM for next season then. Yeah, it's a hard one, it is. But I just think that eventually you can't be having all these attacking players competing for two spots. It just becomes a bit redundant in the end. But moving on, I have another super chat right now. Tolu, yes, Tolu, respect, bro. What should we do about Christensen? Well, I guess all we have to do really is just give Christensen the contract he wants. I think that's been the main thing. I've been saying for a while now that it's January, yeah. I knew that these guys would be using January as an opportunity to see what offers they get from other clubs, see the contracts they get, because ideally they want to stay. You know, there's a very good thing happening at this club right now. They're all very settled in the country too. Christensen's been at this club for over 10 years. He signed as a 16-year-old. All his boys are here as well too. You're winning with them. You know, these are like powerful things. You can't just like ignore them just like that. But then the club have to also respect their demands, and maybe hopefully parties can like come to like a middle ground and come to an agreement. But I think the reality is that they're only using January as a time to see the offers they get and use that as leverage to bring back to negotiations. Because here's the thing, yeah, if they were definitely going, pre-contract agreements would have been signed a long time before already. We would have known at the start of January that pre-contracts had been signed. You know what I mean? They can do that right now. It would be done already. It happens all the time in football. How many times have we seen players signing these deals time in advance, and you know in January, boom, they're going? So the fact that they're still here tells me that they still want to be here, but I guess it's down to the club now. And I guess, listen, if you're the club, you're like, here's your offer, but then you see that Barca offer Christensen like 30k more and Madrid have offered like 50k more. When you want to keep these guys and you're seeing the performances they're putting in, how can you say no to that? You know, I think that's one of the games being played right now. I don't know all the complications behind negotiations, but I don't want to be giving like black and white answers like, oh, because you're not accepting what the club wants to give you, you should fuck off. Nah, I don't think it works like that. Because honestly, like, most of us will work. We all been in like a corporate environment or, you know, hierarchy, etc., etc. You want to be paid your value. No one wants to be paid what's below their value. It doesn't matter if, you know, you're earning like, you know, like hundreds of grands or hundreds of pounds. No one wants to be paid less than their value, and I respect that, because that's what we're all like. So we'll see what happens. You know, the fact that nothing's been signed gives me hope that every player can be tied down, and I think Christensen's a great player. I know that now that contract situations haven't been like in our favor, people are trying to like play down this game a bit, which is interesting, because like I think a month and a half ago everyone was saying how is this guy our best defender in the club. So things can be always a bit you know, touch and go, I guess. But I'm not going to be disrespecting Christensen and saying that he's not good enough, because he definitely is. And I've always known he wasn't going to be good enough, and he's proven that he is. And I think he can even get even better as well. So ideally, I like him to stay and get tied down as well. So anyway, let's go on, finding some more questions. Aaron Tanak, Nini, what do you think of Colwell, and do you think he will get a chance? From the reports that are coming out right now, that the club's like scouting team, they're really praising him. You definitely know Tuchel will be aware of him as well too. They're saying how there's talks of fast tracking him into the team for next season. That could be the best way to go, because there's comparisons with Reece James's loan spell at Wigan, and as we all knew, Reece James was doing very special things. We can't forget all those clips and comments we were seeing left, right and centre on Twitter on the TL, showing what Reece James was doing and all the things you were hearing from Wigan fans. It's literally identical to what Cole is receiving from Huddersfield fans. Huddersfield fans are absolutely in awe of what he's doing. He's doing incredible things there, because he's an incredible player. And as I keep saying, the fact that we've already seen the proof that this works. We've seen the proof that this works. People can make up excuses, transfer ban this, X, Y, Z. Listen, if it didn't work, we wouldn't have got top 4 with these guys. If it didn't work, these guys wouldn't have been the main ones to get the goals and the assists. But they were. They were the key guys getting the goals in their first season playing for the club like that. So that just tells you that it's not by fluke that all 5, 6 of these guys were introduced. They're like the only good ones. Absolutely not. It tells you that there's a lot more where that comes from. And for me, you use Colwell next season. You fast track him. He's got the mentality. You know what I mean? He's not one of those kids that's like meek and, you know, unassertive. People say that he plays like he's 28 years old. It's like, come on. Like I keep saying, wonder kids, yeah? That implies you're like one of the special breeds. We have that in defense, and his name's Levi Colwell. But, okay, Xavier, Landore, big up, Needy, big up the chat, respect, man. Moving on. MB7, yeah, maybe definitely speak to me on Twitter about that, for sure. And also, Alex, if you send me like a DM on Twitter or something, just so I know like who you are on Twitter, that would be very, very helpful, man. Anyway, going on, Nini. I'm gonna call you Dr. Nini. Bro, don't making my potato head get any bigger, man. Moving on to Almiron Salke. I am the only one that thinks that signing Havertz, Werner and Ziyech are somewhat flops. I know Havertz scored the winning goal for us in the CL and this and that, but what do you think? I mean, I get what you're saying. And I think when they were first signed, they were signed to play in a system in which obviously, you know, space is made for them. You know, Lampard had a plan to use Havertz as an 8. he didn't have a plan to use him as a striker or on the right wing. Yeah, sometimes he was used as a cam and he was used as a number 8. And I definitely think that for me, I saw the vision there. I was seeing some of the things Kai was doing. I'm seeing the passes he's playing. That's what I'm saying. You know, we're not seeing that side of his game, that creative part of his game, which he does have. I could see him growing. He has improved. He's definitely improving his defensive aptitude, because at Leverkusen, this guy was not known for his defending. This guy was not working as hard as he's doing now. When you come to this club, that's the culture that you become part of. But again, it comes down to finding that best role for him. And I just think that playing as one of these cams, like on the left-hand side too, I just don't think Kai on the left does anything. I think he's better coming in from the right-hand sides, where he can cut inside on the stronger foot. On his left foot on the left-hand side, it's not the same impacts. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's an interesting one. I think it can still work, but then brave decisions have to be made to really like get the very best out of Kai, because, yeah, in my opinion, I haven't seen it consistently. And like I was saying before, like being brutally honest, when we were linked with Sancho, I really wanted Sancho over Havertz at the time, because I was just thinking, okay, I'd imagine Sancho playing with us, especially in Tuchel's system now. Forget what he's doing at Man United, isolated on the right hand side. I mean, this club, that club loves wasting talent. They love spending ridiculous money on talent and absolutely wasting it, having no vision or plan. I really can't stand Man United. But you know, if Sancho is with us, it's a completely different ballgame, yeah? I get what you're saying, but like at the same time, because I know that Kai has that potential, I'm going to hold out for the future that he is going to be used in a much more complementary manner and way, so we can see the very best of what he can do, because I'm not seeing it consistently, just like you, to be honest, man. And I think with Timo Werner as well, you know, he was looking better against Spurs yesterday because there was more space for him to play in. And I think if you play that consistently, where he's like the, you know, he's the guy you make space for down the left-hand side to get on the end of moves to kill them off, he does work. But it's just that because we're not really playing like that, that means that Werner's best strengths aren't really utilised in that manner. So this is what I mean. You know, if we're going to be sticking with this style, maybe we have to look at players that can come in to replace. You look at something like a Paulo Dybala. I know 100% sure that Dybala, if signed, would have come in and instantly just fit in the system without a doubt, without a sweat. But we'll have to see what happens. Moving on to Noah. I'm from Exeter, and seeing Ampadu break through and go into Chelsea and how well he did at Leipzig was amazing, and he's playing well at Venezia. I don't see why he is not being considered over Rice and I'm guessing Tchouaméni. I think Ampadu is good, but from my opinion, and I've been saying this since the moment we signed him, back when everyone thought he'd be like the new John Terry, the new defensive guy that should be in the first team right now, I was telling people actually Trevor Chalobah's better playing out from the back. When I was watching these guys playing for the academy, I thought that Ampadu is good and he was part of a good squad, but I didn't think he was like the very best of what we had, of what we produced, to be honest with you. He's definitely shown his form and he's still very, very young. I still think he can have a future at the club. In a squad capacity role, yeah, I think he can. He's a good passer of the ball. I still remember that game for Leipzig against Spurs in the Champions League. He was playing some beautiful balls out from the back. I don't know why it didn't work out for him at Leipzig, to be honest. That was a big shame that they didn't keep him on for another season. But it's interesting they went to Venezia as well too. We have to see what happens with Ampadu, but I think the reality is that, you know, a club like us, when you have so much competition in your position from so many other guys in your age group as well too, the moment anyone slows down for a second, someone will come in to replace you. And like, for example, look at Billy Gilmour and Gallagher. Gilmour, for me, you thought this guy's destined to be part of the team for the next few years. Gallagher's come through right now, and now you're thinking, oh crap, you know? Now you're thinking Gallagher's the main guy over Gilmour right now. Little details like that. For me, I think personally, it was, and I said this one before, I thought it was really stupid to let fucking Gilmour go to Norwich to do what there? I still don't know what it was. It felt like you're just backing your boy in Fark and giving him one of our best young players to waste. And he's not going to learn absolutely anything there. He's just going to learn to hate Norwich fans. You know what I mean? But he's still an incredible football player. I mean, footballers play with better players. You have to judge them by that. I can't judge good players playing with guys who aren't on the same level. I use this argument all the time, but imagine if like a Norwich had Iniesta or Messi. Are these guys translating their Barca form at Norwich? Absolutely not. And they'd be scapegoated because it's like, who's going to play off them? Who's going to understand their movements, their passes? Who's going to pass the ball to them consistently? All those little details. But anyway, moving on to great. Ahien, how you doing, man? Sancho is just a light-skinned Hudson-Odoi. He's not doing anything at Chelsea, in my opinion. I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm not going to be holding his United form against him. United have zero attacking plans. They have zero defensive plans. They have zero pressing plans. Like, the reason why United are so shit, yeah, is because they just sign names. They don't think about how they're going to play together. And then the other players then get scapegoated because they have to do all this defensive dog work. And then, you know, cover up all the crap for the big name guys they signed. I think for me personally, the biggest mistake United actually made was actually signing Bruno Fernandes, because I think with someone like a Fernandes, you have to play in a certain way. You can't have a Pogba and play with Fernandes. It doesn't make any sense. You can't have a Fernandes and play with a Sancho. It doesn't make any sense. You know, details like that. And I think that's why United are where they are, to be honest. And that's why Rangnick, well, I mean, what was he really going to do? Well, he's going to get them pressing in a 4-2-2-2. But Ronaldo is going to be pressing up front. It just doesn't make any sense, to be honest. But anyway, moving on to Mahoney. Your opinions on activating Livramanto's buyback for the fullback replacement. I mean, I absolutely love the fact that back when I was a real advocate for why this guy needs to stay, and why I was fuming about how, like, oh, you know, why is he going? Why are we going for Hakimi? I got a lot of stick, as I naturally do all the time during these moments when people aren't seeing the bigger picture. At the time, the argument was, oh, if you're signing Livramento, why is he going to stay? Reece James is taking his spot. But then when Hakimi was linked, why was it not the same energy? I mean, I get it, you know, Livramento, Hakimi's got a big name. Livramento's not anywhere near the same level. I get it. But it's just like, in a season, you have to rely upon competition in like wing-back areas. And let's say Hakimi was signed, would Reece James be exclusively playing as a right centre-back throughout the entire season? No, he wouldn't be doing that. That wouldn't have worked like that at all. You'd be alternating between them. And I didn't see any difference in why Livramento couldn't have been the Hakimi guy, because I kept saying Livramento was literally the copy of Hakimi. We're seeing what this guy's doing at Southampton. We're seeing the runs he goes on. I still can't understand why he wasn't kept. I think it was a very big mistake. And the fact that everyone's very comfortable now, just literally not even 1 year later, 1 season later, paying what 40 times the value we sold him for, 20 times the value we sold him for. I think that sums up everything, to be honest. But yeah, to answer your question, I think that'd be an interesting one to explore and see. But I'm guessing we wouldn't exercise it so soon. But it depends. You know, if someone like a Man City made a move for him, or a Man United made a move for him to replace Wan-Bissaka, that could force us to have to be like, yo, are we going to allow him to improve one of these teams? Or is it time now to activate the release clause and bring this guy here? I have another super chat. Thank you, Andrew. Yes, Andrew, how are you doing, man? Do you think there's a path for Gilmour to factor into the squad for next season or later? It's a hard one. Ideally, if we had kept him, there's a big chance that he stays for the following season. But now that we're linked with Tchouaméni, now that Gallagher is basically guaranteed to be coming back, because I know during last pre-season he really impressed Tuchel quite a lot, and he wants to work with him again for next season. So immediately that's 2 midfield players coming in. You'd imagine other guys could go, potentially Barkley, potentially Ruben. There's reports that came out today, just little rumours so far, that N'Golo Kante might consider this to be his final season here, because he wants to just try something new. And that is not as crazy, because I told you guys when Lampard first left, Kante was considering leaving Chelsea before. So they were like little talks behind the scenes at the club anyway. So this isn't anything new. I'm not here saying that Kante wanted to leave for Lampard. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that maybe Kante was feeling like maybe he's had enough time at the club. It's like a different generation, etc., etc. He wants to try something new in his career before like his career comes to an end as well too. Ideally, I pray that doesn't happen, because Kante is one of those unique legacy guys that you just can't replace. And, you know, God forbid he went to Real Madrid. You know what? Imagine if Kante's like, yo, I want to go. Madrid just signed Mbappe on a free, and then they want to get Kante. It's over for the entire Europe then. But I don't know. I just think that I'm looking at two midfield players who are destined to be coming next season. Guys that could potentially leave. And then I'm looking at players like maybe like a George, a Kante, a Cover. Is there more info behind the scenes with the club right now? Is there potential unrest? Or maybe players thinking maybe it's time to move on now? Or do we decide maybe it's time to, you know, push players out because some of the new guys we have coming through are just so good that we can't afford to let them go or lose out on them. For example, when we had Courtois, we kept him out on loan with Atletico Madrid for as long as possible, but you just knew that eventually he had to be fast-tracked and he'd have to take Jack's place, which he did do. And it was the right decision at the time. And I think in football, you just have to do that when those opportunities do come. So I think considering all of that, it could be hard for Gilmour. And I'd imagine that he'd have to get another loan spell. And this is why I get a bit nervous now, because I think loans don't necessarily reflect the ability of a player. There's so many different circumstances and factors that come into place that can determine how well they do out on loan. We've seen at Norwich City the fact that they're not good enough, the players around him. The fact that, you know, they have many weaknesses in defence. The midfield players he's playing alongside, that up front, the creativity there too is not really there either. Are they necessarily getting the best out of his passes? Absolutely not. But when he was here with us, his passing was no issue. The way he played was no issue. There was a reason why he picked up many man of the match awards. We can't forget that. It wasn't just one or two. I think it was about, between 3 to 5 he picked up. And of course, look what he did for Scotland in the Euros as well too. One of the youngest players at the Euros, picking up a man of the match awards against England. Like, you're not doing that if you're a shit player. And I don't want him to be another Josh McEachran who, back when he was a teen, 17 years old playing, this guy, for me, I thought was going to the very top because he was excellent. Excellent. But then what happens? Injuries and terrible loans. And then after a season or two, there will be competition that does replace you. That's how football works at this level, especially at our level, where you're constantly competing left, right, and centre to keep your place in the team. It's very cutthroat. It's very hard. So I'd like to pray and hope that Gilmour is still able to have a future here. And if he does go on loan, I pray that it's to a club that will use him and use him properly. But anyway, let's move on to Jordan McFall. Yes, Jordan, how you doing, man? Yo, Nini, hope you're well, brother. With Vale making it into the squad permanently. If not, who from the youth squad will also make it? There's one guy I really, really like. Charlie Webster. Very skillful, very good. He's like a cover style midfield player. He can play with both feet, left foot and right foot. For me, that definitely intrigues me. I think that's definitely a unique skill set to have. Alongside that press resistance, his ability to play between the lines too, the creativity, you know, that expression when he's dribbling past his man too. Like, this is what I mean. Like, I was literally just speaking about Gilmour. But let's say Gilmour's not in the team in the next 2 seasons. You have something like a Webster where, let's say Tuchel, I mean, he's already training under him with the first team as well too. I'd imagine he could be impressing him. Tuchel may decide, actually, Webster, I like his profile a little bit more. And that could be it for someone like a Gilmour. So it's definitely a hard one. Of course, I like Soonsup Bell as well too. I think he's a very good striker. I'd like to see what he can do as well too, for sure. I think he's very techie up front. But I think for me, Webster, he's a guy that I find very good. But there's many good ones like Haig as well, and like so many more. You know, Derek Abu, of course, you know, under 16s, playing right back there. The next on the conveyor belt of just like top quality wing backs and right backs that we constantly produce at the club. He's another one that's already doing bits already. So we got so many. But I think for me, Webster's a guy that I definitely rate highly. But let me move on to answer some more questions, you guys. Okay, Alex can't DM, but sent you a tweet. Thanks, man. I'll definitely get back to that afterwards. Let me go on to John McFall. Okay, Jordan. Jace of the famous CFC. Kessie doesn't win the ball like Kante, just runs around with his shorts falling off and takes hero shots all day. I mean, that's one way to break down his game. But I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. I do think that, you know, I know he's going to be available on the free, but Kessie's not a guy I'm looking at, to be honest. I think we can get better players. I think Shemeni is definitely a better player, in my opinion. And you know what? I actually might, hopefully, I might be going with my girl and my guy's girl to the south of France in March. And we're trying to get tickets for the Monaco Paris Saint-Germain game. Because obviously, Paris Saint-Germain will be playing against Monaco in Monaco Stadium. And I might have to be going on a little scouting report and scouting mission for you guys to see Tchouaméni playing live in action. That would be exciting to see. I'm hoping that can happen and be arranged, to be honest. Let's hope Carver doesn't get too mad later on. But moving on, Kit Slim, Charlie Webster will become great. Remember the name? 100%. I think this guy's got a very special, unique talent. Definitely one to watch out for. Let's see what happens. Global CFC, Cobham Sexuals. Fair enough. I mean, hey, listen. I guess I am what I am. Even though that sounds really nonsense. I definitely take that back, you guys. I take that back straight away. But I don't get why, like, it doesn't make sense to me that, you know, like, we can all support, like, the same club, yet there'll be all at these, like, mini divisions about, you know, you don't support the club like this, you know, you don't, why are we going to use young players even though, like, we're benefiting so much right now from using them, blah, blah, blah. Like, this doesn't make no sense to me, to be honest. But moving on to Chef Livermento annoys me. Why couldn't he just be as faithful as Broja? I mean, this is what I mean. I always keep saying that it was nothing to ever do with that. It was the fact that the club did not properly commit to him. And if you're actively looking to sign a player in this position, you're just undermining your stance when you're telling him that we believe in you and we want you to stay. I can't keep saying that. Like, the club doesn't do everything right. I don't understand why this insistence on just, like, whatever, like, the, you know, top figures in the hierarchy do something, you just have to, like, blindly agree with them because surely they know better, and surely they know, no, bro, we're human beings. We don't operate on, like, some higher status level every single time. An L is an L sometimes, and that L was not giving that belief to Livramento and saying, listen, you're going to be here next season. We're not going to go for Hakimi because you're going to be our guy to compete alongside Reece James. That's all they had to do. That's all he had to do. He didn't sign pre-contract agreements 10 years in advance or like 3 months in advance. No, he didn't. Once we made it actively known that we were looking at someone who would play in this position, what are you implying? He didn't want to go out on loan. He didn't want to do that. The club should have used him, and look what he's doing at Southampton already. And we are playing that well, this young. All that's going to do is attract the attention of all the other big clubs across Europe and in this country as well. So it definitely wasn't the case of Livramento not being loyal. I mean, I know if I did this like stream every single day, I see that question pop up at least once in every stream, which is annoying. But moving on. Scout Nini in the building. Yeah, I've actually been to Monaco Stadium before, so like I said, man, I've been a very, very lucky guy as a Chelsea fan growing up. My dad's like a diehard Chelsea fan, been going since like the 70s, home and away, abroad, all that stuff as well. Got me indoctrinated from a very young age. When I went to the Monaco game, that was that game when Ranieri was still our manager. That was in the semi-final of the Champions League. That was when Monaco went down to 10 men. And Ranieri made one of the worst tactical decisions of all time. He took off a midfield player to bring on, I think, was it Gudjonsson? And he wanted to like overwhelm them in attack, but all that did was made us lose our midfields. I mean, you lose your midfield, you lose that control. And it's just like, we got the defeat in the first leg. We take it back to Stamford Bridge, you know, we lead, but it wasn't enough because that Monaco team had like Julie, it had like Roten, they had like a really good players. Like Evra was playing at the time then for them as well. They were a very good team, and it was a big mistake. Morientes, we can't forget, big mistake. Definitely undermined them. Ranieri, one of the worst tactical blunders in his entire life, because we should have won that game and we could have played Porto in the final. But this is the mad thing about football. If we had played Mourinho in that final, the entire course of our history becomes completely different. It's like a different time zone right now. Who knows if you even see your Drogbas or players like that? Because what if we decided to keep Ranieri, who won the Champions League, which would have been a thing. And Ranieri's like, I don't want Drogba, you know, because Ranieri actually was the one that signed Robin and Petr Cech for us before they worked on the Mourinho. So he was already doing his little bits and bobs here and there to plan for next season. And it's just like, it's so like crazy how football can go this way or that way. But I guess in the end though, I guess it worked out for us. But who knows? What if like Ranieri won it and then we've won like 5 more Champions Leagues by then? But anyway, let's go on. Okay, Carefree Landon. Have Hope recommended this channel for Chelsea fans, as he said this is the best Chelsea fan channel on YouTube. My question is, do you think Abramovich's vision of a full 11 of common graduates? honestly, I don't think it's that unrealistic. You know, in the next 8 years, there's going to be even more talents to come through. You'd imagine that players like your Reece Jameses, players like your Mounts, etc., and many more will be like mainstays in the team in the in the foreseeable future. I don't think it's impossible, and I love that this is actually like a vision that the club is actively working on and actively has. And it just gets you thinking, you know, what is the future going to hold for us? Because, you know, at a club like us with our academy, we're not going to just become dinosaurs one day because we just stick to one way of doing things. No, we'll constantly be at the cutting edge, the cutting front, always looking to lead, because we're leaders in this youth development scene. We're actual leaders. And we're inspiring other clubs to also take their academies a lot more seriously right now. Look at Man City, the strides they've been making over the past few years to get on a level to compete with us. So it just goes to show, like, when you do something new and you lead and you do your best and you become the best, it can have a powerful effect for the future. And listen, if it wasn't for that preparation from 10 years back, we wouldn't have seen Mason Mount assisting Kai Havertz in the Champions League. We wouldn't have a Reece James right now who's one of the best fullbacks to me in the world. I don't care how young he is. For me, he is. I watch a lot of people play. The way he plays the game is on a very high level compared to many players in the game right now. You know, we're looking at what these guys are doing. They don't even make it here. Tammy Abraham scoring against AC Milan. I mean, I don't even know the final score in that Milan Roma game. Let me just have a quick look right now on flipping who scored right now, so I don't forget. But yeah, let me see. What was that score actually? Because I know that Tammy scored a little back heel. Where is it? Milan. Oh, it's Milan won 3-1 in the end then. Okay, Giroud scored. Okay, cool. Tammy, and then Rafael Leao, who's starting to make a bit of a comeback now. So that's interesting to see. But that's what I'm saying, you know, like the quality we're producing. Would it even be crazy to maybe one day see Tammy come back in the next like 3 years or something? I don't think it is. I think that he'll have such a great education from his time at Roma, for example. And I know it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but just comprehending like the talents that we have with us right now, the talents that we own out on loan, and the talents that we sold that we have buyback clauses for and options to buy again. I don't think it's crazy that in the next 8 years, by the time 2030 comes, Project 2030, we could see an outfield 10 of Cobham players for 1 game, 2 games at least. You know what I mean? Like Tammy so far, he's banging a lot of goals in the Conference League, but for me, if he was not scoring in the Conference League, then I'd be having lots of big question marks. 7 goals in 19 appearances in Serie A, 13 goals in all competitions isn't a bad return, especially when it's a new country, new culture, new system, and you're playing under Mourinho as well too. So, you know, he's doing okay. He's doing okay there right now. But getting back to the stream. Okay, Antonio Rodriguez, Nini with the fade is the level of confidence I want to achieve. I'm telling you, bro, like when you get a haircut, I think all us guys know that a different energy just manifests out from nowhere. Like you can feel like an absolute mute one day, but when your barber does you nicely, gives you the shape up of life, the fade of dreams, and then inner confidence comes out that we all possess deep down. But then, you know what I mean, you need a haircut to just really just take it out of you. But moving on to MCI JK, do we need Dest when we have Xavi Simons? But I think Simons, yeah, he can play in different positions. I think mainly in midfield is really his. Dest, I think, could fill a pretty helpful role. The fact he can play down the left and down the right as well. You know, playing for Ajax as well, he'll definitely understand when it comes to, like, you know, timing, the overload, etc., etc. I like to see how he would compete in the Premier League because, you know, he has had some of his struggles at Barcelona for understandable reasons, but in the Premier League, it's an intense league. It's very physical. You have to be ready for that quite quickly. But you like to think that he could adjust with Pulisic, of course, being here as well too. All the youngers at the club as well currently. And I'm sure he's definitely done a thing or two playing for Barcelona as well. So we'll have to see what happens. But I think what worries me the most is that, okay, you know, I'm still reading reports of possible targets left back. One day it's Tagliafico, one day it's Digne, one day it's Dest. I'm just thinking, listen, it's literally in like less than an hour. It's going to be the 7th of January, and that's 1 week into the new year. and there's no progression in regards to left backs or right backs or any backs, to be honest. But how long have I even been streaming for right now? I don't even flipping know, to be fair. I've just been out here just yapping away. I think I'll probably stay on for another half an hour before I definitely keep it moving, because I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm getting a little bit peckish right now. I'm getting a little bit hungry. It's one of them days, to be honest. Moving on to Risk Made Romo. Nini, what's the two best centre-back pairings in the back four with centre-backs we have now or in the transfer market in the summer? Well, I think what our centre-backs can play in the back four, you know, how Lampard uses the back four and how Tuchel uses the back four is two different things. So I'm not going to be comparing players' abilities based on what their managers was telling them. Rudiger for sure easily can play in the back four. I don't want to hear any ifs, buts or buys. Thiago Silva easily can as well too. I think Christensen can. I mean, he's done it his whole career, to be honest. I think Cole, if he comes back, he can. QnA can. I mean, all these guys can. I don't really think that this thing where it's like only certain defenders are suited for a back three compared to a back four. I don't really know where it came from, to be honest. Even back at Juventus, your Chiesas, your Bonucci's, Bazaglis, all these guys could still easily cook in a back four as well too. You wouldn't say that they were just like back three defenders. I mean, it doesn't work like that at this level. Moving on to Varane. Did you see Mbuyamba getting a first team opportunity? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Of course, last season was really bad for him because he was injured the entire year. Now it's like his really first proper season right now. I guess they don't want to rush things. If he was showing that levels, I'd imagine he's playing over Malang Sarr, I guess. But, you know, I'm not holding that against him. There's no expectations from me. Like I said, he was out for over 12 months, so he just needs to play football for a season. And, you know, like, when you develop, it's not like a linear path, a linear curve. You know, it really does depend on so many different variables. So I just think no pressure, and let's see what he does, to be honest. But, you know, like I said, Levi Cole was better than him, and he's the guy that needs to come back for next season. Antonio Rodriguez, Nini, do you work out? If you do, what's your workout plan, broski? My workout plan, man, is literally just eating vibes. That's all it's been. Eating vibes. And now I'm trying to not eat as much right now. I'm trying to like get more active and get more healthy. Now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to have a real appreciation now for like nutrition. I had literally no knowledge behind it. You know, I'm out here now trying to like make juices in the morning. You know, I have stuff like water with like apple cider vinegar and lemon. I'm really like paying attention to like the nutrients I'm getting in me right now. Like, you know, like having my spinach, my parsley, vitamin C's, fish, all that type of stuff. And I'm telling you, yeah, like I'm actually feeling a difference. Like this is why working has been so, I've been in such like a mad state of workflow right now. I feel so focused. I feel so like motivated. I feel like I'm working quite well. I'm very happy with the videos I've been releasing as well recently since the start of this year. I'm hoping that continues, and it's just like when you get to a certain age where you can't just like get away with it, you know, you've got to start respecting what you're putting in your body. Yeah, it's all that relationship in it. It's all about that balance you need to find, especially if you want to like put in work and do something like this as well. So yeah, man, that's for everyone that's listening right now. I'm still just do a little bit of exercise here and there. I need to do a lot more of it, but right now I'm just trying to focus more on my nutrition and just trying to get the body on point now, to be honest with you. Moving on to Jordan Fraternini. The only one I'm definitely not sure about in the back four is Jalaba. I think he suits that right centre back really well with his skill set, but I'm not sure about him in the back two. I think Jalaba as well, you know, he's always played in the back two as well for the academy as well too. So like for me, I don't personally see much of a difference between players that play on the left, play down the right, to be fair. I think if you're a defender and you can't do both, then you're not doing something right, in my opinion. Or a lot of times it comes down to maybe crap management. I remember that, for example, when Harry Redknapp was a QPR manager like nearly 10 years ago now. He introduced like a back three system quite early on at the time. And that back three system was absolutely useless because, you know, the mistake they made in this country is that they thought that if you just like pack your defense, that's enough. But what the European guys do when they manage their teams in the back three is that these guys have to be good on the ball, because these guys are imperative at starting that first phase of play out from the back. of course, and beating the opposition press. They got to be like playmakers in that sense. You know, they can't just be crap on the ball, otherwise you're going to flop. For example, Gary Cahill, under Conte, I know why Conte used him, because he was a brute, because he was strong, but he was by far the weakest when it came to playing out from the back. And every time teams would play against us, they would target that left-hand side that used to have Gary Cahill there. I think it was Cahill on the left-hand side. I think it was during Conte's times. But that's what I mean. So in a sense, you know, Cahill was way more suited to a back two than he was in a back three, because in a back three, you actually have to be a great football player. You have to be good on the ball. You're going to be caught out on a lot. You're going to have teams looking to press you and close you down. You won't just have easy passes to make to the midfield players. You know what I mean? You got to be the one that has to instigate the press, instigate that first phase and get the attack started. So I think it's the complete opposite, actually, from like having to be able to, you know, like you can only be good in the back three. It doesn't translate to in the back two. I think it's vice versa, to be honest. But anyway, moving on. Charlie Mahoney, good stream, bro. Gonna get some nap though. I think I'm gonna have to get some nap too as well. I've just clocked that I've been on for nearly one and a half hours right now. I've got some more videos coming out tomorrow. I got the match preview tomorrow, and the video I've been working on too are options that I want to see at left wing back and right wing back. I'm hoping tomorrow is a good time to release it. The annoying thing with YouTube is that you can't just release videos anytime you want. You have to wait for the right time, upload at the right time, etc, etc. I'm hoping that I can have another double upload ready for you guys tomorrow, and if not, it will definitely be like a preview, and I'll probably do like another stream with some guests on, just talking about how the week went by, to be honest. But to be honest with you guys, do I want to stay on for another half an hour? I'm getting a bit tired, to be honest. I might have to just end things in the next 2 minutes, to be honest. I think an hour and a half is more than long enough. And I did release a sick video too, I can't lie. I released a good video breaking down our game yesterday. I hope you guys enjoy it. But I'll answer the last few questions. Well, this is a very interesting name. Jazz Civis, Guy Civs, Jesse FC. Nini, what is the right situation to get a good YouTube channel started up? I mean, I'm from the Caribbean and I want to be in the mix and mingle with you European YouTubers. So how? You know, I think YouTube is definitely a job where you have to work smart. People will say work hard, but I think working hard is such an overrated word, to be honest. You have to work smart. You have to understand your audience. You have to understand strategies, tactics. That could be how you make your content. That could be upload schedules. That's so many different things. But because you're working on a platform where there's so many different people, so much competition, how you use your brain is what's going to elevate you and help you the most, to be honest. You know, I definitely think when you come into YouTube, you need to come in with a plan, because this thing where people think it's like easy money, I've never really known personally where that came from. This is like this is the worst job to have if you want to make money from this, because you know how long it's going to take you just to get your channel to get over the threshold where you can even earn and you can be part of that partnership program with YouTube. You need like 1,000 subs. And on top of that, you need to get over 4,000 hours. And you're not doing that if you don't have like a strategy and constant schedule which you're releasing. And then you have to hope that your content bangs and it's good, because if people ain't watching it, it's going to take you even longer to get there. And by the time you do get past that threshold, you're not really earning anything at all. So it's very hard. I feel like I definitely got lucky, if I'm honest with you. I think no one likes to admit that luck plays a part in life, but I'm sorry. You need luck in everything you do. I got lucky in so many ways. I got lucky that, number one, I had a dad who's a crazy diehard football fan, which meant that I was able to go to so many games, experience so many things that allows me to even talk how I do. That makes me a bit different on here. You know what I mean? That just allows me to have something to say. I guess, you know, I'm lucky in the sense that, like, my girl's brother too is a YouTuber. So, like, starting out, I just got all these hand-me-downs, and that saved me a ton of money, and that helped me out a lot. And I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm not going to be like, oh, I was grinding X, Y, Z. Yeah, I did have my jobs before that I was doing, but then I also had luck on my side that helped me just to accelerate things a tiny bit more. So it's hard for me to give you proper advice, man. All I can really say is, if you're thinking about doing YouTube, have a plan, do your research. Don't just put out content. that's not enough anymore. You need to have an idea of what you want to do with it. You know, your visuals, your thumbnails, they're super. Unfortunately, thumbnails are even more important than the content you put out. If your thumbnail attracts people, that's it. I see a lot of times in here, man, a lot of people don't have nothing to say. They're not really doing much, in my opinion, but the thumbnail bangs. And this is what I mean, all these little details on top of that too. So I'm not going to be out here discouraging you. I'm not about discouraging people from anything. I'm just going to encourage you to have a strategy, have a plan, and think about what you want to do, and do proper research first before you just dive in. Because if you're going to record from like a camera that's like 360p, you know what I mean? If you don't have good internet, or you can't upload, if you have all these like factors working against you, it's going to be fucking hard, bro. I'll tell you that right now. But good luck, and like I said, I hope you took some advice from what I'm saying, basically. But anyway, moving on. Anton, respect, bro. Thanks so much, man. Antonio Rodriguez, it's all good, bro. Love the content, love what you do, bro. You legit are an inspiration for me to become a Chelsea YouTuber soon. Well, I hope you definitely took some advice from what I was saying before, man. You know, YouTube, you can definitely do stuff with it. You can create your own luck. I mean, I guess, I don't even think create your own luck. I think that plays a part if you have a strategy. But I think all of us are able to have like our own personal bit of luck in our own way. And I guess you have to understand what that luck is, and then you have to do something with that. Like when I first even started, I remember the only reason I even got into YouTube was two things, yeah. Number one, all my guys used to call me Professor, and I couldn't have no good football conversation with no one. So I needed a platform to have an outlet to just talk ball. And number two, back when Chelsea Fan Channel used to be a thing. Let me see if I can even find a video as well too. Back when Chelsea Fan Channel used to be a thing, when Sophie and Rory were running that channel, obviously they had their you know, they had their the fan cams, and it was those fan cams, yeah, that, you know, at the time I was a bit nervous to go on, but then it's just like after the game I wanted to say something, I wanted to speak about the game, etc, etc. And the fact that my fan cam views wasn't too bad definitely gave me confidence to be like, yo, maybe let's try this YouTube thing, you know what I mean? I'm trying to see if I can find a video of myself actually from all the way back then, so you guys can have a bit of an idea. Yo, real talk, I definitely see why guys on Twitter call me Potato Head. I look absolutely shocking in some of these videos, like yo, I can't show you guys this, I look absolutely mad right now. But to be fair, this is like 6-7 years ago, to be honest. I'll show you guys real quick to give you an example then. My god, this is embarrassing as fuck. But anyway, here it is. Back in the day, Chelsea fan cams. I don't know why I'm sounding like such a geek right now, but I was. My trim was absolutely disastrous as well too. I had a terrible barber. Thank God I left that guy real quick. But that's what I mean. I started off doing a few of these, and then it kind of gave me the confidence to be like, yo, let me go on and see what happens right now. Oh my god, this is different. I still got that quote though. Like, that's another piece of advice. Invest in good quality pieces and they will last you forever. But this is what I mean, you guys. At the time, how many views did this get? It's got like, what, 7,877 views. What's people say in the comments from like 5-6 years back? Rohan Allen, and I swear I've seen Rohan Allen a million times on this channel. This dude always speaks the truth. Blah blah blah. What else are guys saying in the chat over here? He's right. Gabriel Silva, I agree with him. Spot on from this geezer, this fucking geezer, mate. That's what I'm saying. And this is my first channel I started actually, Nini FC. So look at me being an absolute nerd, writing a whole paragraph in a YouTube comment section. Oh my god. But you need to have that nerdiness in you. And this was like the first ever video I made on YouTube. Yo, that's going back through memory lane right now. That was it, Nini FC. I remember it took me forever to make the stupid intro as well too. My first video was reviewing the Euros when Portugal won it as well. What was I doing? I was just playing FIFA, talking behind the scenes for 16 minutes. I thought, let me go, you know, I'm talking about the final, let me go play Portugal versus France. What is this, like FIFA 15? I don't even know what FIFA this is, to be honest. Like, this is how old it is. This is how we're going all the way back. But that's literally how I started, you guys. That's how I started on YouTube, and then this is where I am right now. So, like I said, the advice I gave was advice that I did for myself, yeah. Need to have a plan, have a strategy, make it happen. And then from then on, you know, I was doing streams with this guy called Andy before. His channel used to be called Chelsea Transfer News. When we collabed together, we came up with the name Blue Lines TV to, like, you know, work together. And then afterwards, after that, not too long after, I then stopped doing my channel, and then I was doing it with him, like, properly then, you know what I mean? And then he left. We had some drama, some big scandalous drama. He left. He decided to give the channel to me, because at the time I was like, yo, I'll just keep it moving, I'll do my own one. But he's like, no, because I'm not going to do YouTube no more. And then that's the story of Blue Lines TV right here, you guys. But getting back, I've got a super chat I didn't even realize. I'm just like literally rambling on right now. Muyi, respect, bro. Thank you so much for that super chat, man. Bro, you really raw. I might have to show you my feet now or something. Is that it? But anyway, been rocking with the channel since before 10k subs. When he ran a channel with the other guy. Love the growth, my brother. Bro, respect so much, man. Thanks so much, man. It means a lot. This is what I mean, you guys. Like, literally going back through memory lane right now. Like, I didn't know this would happen on stream, to be honest. But like, look how terrible my thumbnails used to be. Like, I don't know what I was thinking back then. And like, you know what I used to say about my old videos too, yeah? It's just that I don't like, because I've never been like a social media type of guy. I'm not a guy that's out here taking selfies and trying to, like, you know, gas myself up like that. Like, I felt like not only was my audio really terrible, my microphone was absolutely awful, but it's just like I just wasn't even speaking how I normally speak. Like, it was so weird. It was so weird. But thank God, whatever like mental thing I had at the time, I've got over right now. But yeah, like, look at me looking like an absolute nuds. Ay, is that even me? Absolutely terrible. Like, I rate my girl for still sticking with me through these dark times, you know. Actually, that's how you know I've got a real one. That's how you absolutely know I got a real one. Good lords. That's enough of that, you guys. Okay, let me get back to the old stream. Nini dripping on everyone with that jacket. Nini got drip people don't realize, for real. Come on, man. I've always had that. Like, drips, it's everlasting, man. It's everlasting. Sophie back in the day. Yeah, Sophie Beanbads. Hey, you're not lying. You're not lying. Chosen one. I used to watch Nini FC, bro. You're definitely a day one. Definitely a day one. Yeah, I think that was FIFA 14, to be fair. And rest in peace, Andy. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing now. I've spoken 1 or 2 times since all those controversial incidences we used to have back in the day, but it is what it is. That's what I'm going to say to that. Antonio Rodriguez Street said back in the day he used to beat his girlfriend. Don't know what this guy's saying right now, bro. Dylan Arslan, always wanted to start a football podcast because I can't have a convo with nobody, but I think with the language barriers too heavy, bro. Ignore the language barrier. You'll find your people. Don't let that put you off, man. Honestly, I say thank God for YouTube, yeah, because like I said, yeah, I had terrible friends when it came to football. Thank God a platform like YouTube exists where I can actually have my opinions. And it's mad that, you know, since then, you know, all you guys watching me right now, you know, we have that same passion. Now that's the difference, you know. Like, I respect it. I feel like football, end of the day, is still an entertainment. I'm not expecting everyone to have that same level of passion and stuff like that. But for guys like us, for football nerds like us that think about football non-stop, read about football, play football, do anything football, YouTube's here for us. Declan Scott, thank you for the super chat, man. Who should be signed in January and in the summer? I think in January, the guy I'd go for would be Joaquin Marler from Atalanta. I think he could do a job for us right now. Summertime, I need to see Tchouaméni at this club. Tchouaméni is my #1 guy. Sign this guy at all costs. Bring back Colwell on loan. Assess defenders who are staying or leaving and see what's happening there first. And maybe up front as well. Again, it depends on who's staying and who goes, to be honest with you. But I'm going to stick with January for now. I think Joaquin Marler could do a job for us. I know that Dest as well can also play left wing back, right wing back as well. could also be an option. I do like Tagliafico as well too. I do think that, you know, if it was available for a good price, could be some business there as well. But I don't know. I think Joaquin Marler is a powerful, strong, can play on both flanks as well too. I think he'd adjust the Premier League, to be honest. And now that we've done business with them for Zappacosta, and they just signed Jeremy Boga. You guys know how much I love Jeremy Boga. He's going to be fucking amazing at Atalanta. I can't wait to see them. They might as well do us a favor, in my opinion. But anyway, Raul Cortez, another day one guy that's been with me since I started. I remember back in the day when Nini used to be asked all sorts of advice from people. People ask you about getting booty caused to foods. Mad times. Yes. I've always been a guy that gets mad questions. I don't know what it is. A lot of times back then, man wanted to know how to you know, get advice with relationships, how to get a girlfriend, all that stuff. Hey, listen, I can be everyone's like agony uncle. I'm okay to do that. I love giving out advice. But yeah, it was funny old times back then. Like I remember when I used to do the call-in show, and I do want to bring the call-in show back again, just so I can talk football with you guys, so we can all have like a platform to talk, share ideas, etc. I want to bring that back. I just need to find like a sick format to do that in. But there was one guy that used to come on all the time. And I'll admit I was a little bit of a dickhead at times too. But he just used to say some eye-rolling things. That's just like, it was very annoying. And on top of that too, I knew that he was kind of just using me at the time just to push his cause further as well too. But yeah, they were definitely mad times. And Raul, man, it's been like over 5 years and you're still watching me, man. Nah, you definitely get a hug for that, bro. You definitely get a hug, man. Jude Bellingham, he'd be a great one, but I just think if Gallagher's coming back and Tchouameni comes, I think Bellingham's so young, you can wait another 4 years and he's gonna be like, what, 22 when that happens. So Bellingham is a long-term target. I'm okay with that. Moving on to Antonio again. Real talk, our future back line needs to be Maatsen, Cole, Mbiyamba and Javi Simmons. I think that can definitely work. That can definitely bang. Got some potential there. Gamers, remember that video you did with your girl rating Chelsea players? Yes. And it's a shame that video is not here anymore, because when I was having that drama with that Andy guy, like a lot of the videos he deleted a lot of them, and I wasn't able to get that one back. But now I'm just thinking, now would I bait my girl out online for all you guys? I'm not too sure now, to be honest with you. You guys want to see her, like you have to look for her on Twitter if you're really that desperate. But anyway, Declan Scott, off topic, Fredo or Dave? Ooh, Fredo or Dave? That's a hard one, to be fair. I mean, I'm not gonna say Fredo. My girl likes Fredo, so I'll have to be Dave, to be fair. I don't mind Fredo, but that's more for my girl than for me, to be honest. Levzy H Nini, would you take back Tammy Abraham in the summer to give Lukaku some competition? Absolutely not. I just think Tammy, let him cook there in Roma for at least 2 seasons before any talks of him even coming back. Lukaku will come good. Lukaku will need some time to really show what he's fully about. I think Tammy will be coming back to the same situation in which he left. So it would make no sense for us, especially when I think his buyout back clause is like, what, 50, 60 million? Something like crazy like that, to be honest. So it's definitely not the right time. But I did remember saying that I was going to leave at 2:30, which I clearly lied about. When it gets to the 2-hour mark, I'm definitely out of here. 100% this time. No more 5 minutes that go on forever. When it says 2 hours, I'm gone. Where's the time so I can see? Where's that goddamn timer? You guys are lucky for now. You're lucky for now. But anyway, let me find some more questions then. Levzy H Nini, would you take? No, I answered that already. The rare view, hi Nini. Why Tuchel is not focusing on buying midfielders who can score some goals, love from Nepal? Well, we do have one called Conor Gallagher, and Tuchel has said that he wants to see him back for next season. So in a few more months, we'll be able to see him back, bro. But I think for now, you know, we're not really needing to have goals midfield like that, because we do have midfield players that can score goals, but then we don't use them in an attacking way to get the goals, because our system right now is catered towards more important things. So I think maybe that's like one for next season, to be honest. I don't think we can do everything in one season. We have to be a bit realistic. But I think we do have the goal scoring talent here already. and we have some out on loan, and we can buy some as well too. So I think in the future, yeah, that makes sense. But you guys, I'm definitely gone in the next 14 minutes. Then I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm dusted. Chosen one. Don't put your girl in your videos, bro. You know I'm not gonna take no O's. I'm not gonna slip like that. Definitely not. Like I remember even last time for my birthday, or was it her birthday? I can't even remember. But I put on Twitter just like, I can't remember, just like, you know, doing something with my girl that day. I don't know what it was. Can't remember. But it got so many like likes, like the most likes I've ever got for anything. And it kind of offended me. It's just like, raw, like, see, that's what it takes to like bang on Twitter, yeah? Not even my tweets, but pictures of my girlfriend. Fair enough. But I remember I looked at the impressions and it was just like 500,000. I was just like, and I got kind of creeped out thinking, well, 500,000 people have like, you know, seen my girl and stuff like that. Not that I'm like protective or like insecure or nothing, but it's just kind of weird that all these strangers who I'd never see interacting with my tweets all of a sudden, and I've just got access to seeing her. It's just like, nah, I'm definitely not doing this again. But anyway, Wendy Nini, who's the next academy player we should be looking out for besides the ones we already know? One guy needs to definitely show some love towards is Derek Abu. Again, another guy on the conveyor belt of fullback talent. I think Derek Abu, sick guy, one to watch out for. You guys will know his name a lot more too. He did do an interview on the club's website, like I think a few months back as well. Very talented player. I definitely say Derek Abu is one to watch out for. But moving on, chosen one, Nini. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better. I'm trying to be healthier. You know, sleep better. Because I think it all just combines and plays a part. You know, your mental health can be affected by so many different things, not just like mental stress. I think that when your body is able to, like, you know, if you're at like a healthier stage and deposition and stuff, you're able to cope with stresses and issues a lot better than how you're normally not. You know, I did have some bad vices and habits before behind the scenes, some very bad ones to be fair. And they were all like stress relief ones, you know, a bit too much ganja, if I'm being absolutely real with you guys. And after a while, it takes a big toll. It does take a big toll, and I just had to quit that shit for good. So those days are very far behind me, to be honest with you. But anyway, gamers, remember that video? Yeah, I think I answered that. Nini, do you have any goals for this year? My personal goals, my resolutions, I want to make sure that I just continue just working out, eating healthy for sure, man. Like I told myself, now that I've literally turned 30, I need to look back at my life when I'm an old man and be like, there was one time that I had a six-pack. But I'm telling the grandkids stories about my life when they're watching my YouTube videos from like 6 years back and stuff. They need to see how their grandpops was looking at back in the day. You know what I mean? Guns out, flexing, you know what I mean? Got a six-pack and stuff like that. Thinking, yo, man, I need to make sure that's my number one goal. I want to get my fitness on point, not gonna lie. But anyway, moving on to Super K. Nini, do you believe Kepa will replace Mendy in the next 1 month? I don't think permanently for goods, but I think right now Kepa's not giving me anything to worry about. I think Kepa has shown some decent form. I think that Kepa has definitely exercised some of those demons that he was having before with his confidence. He's been very reliable, and I don't feel nervous with him being in goal for us now. I think this is a great opportunity for him to assert himself now, and let's see what happens. You moving on, CFC Anuj, bro. I haven't forgot that time you cooked me on FIFA. Like you really took me by surprise, because I swear when I played you the second time, you got even better than the first time I played you. So we'll have to do a rematch very soon about that one. Yeah, you cooked me too bad in the second rematch. I need to get you back for that. But moving on to MB7, I swear once Needy told a guy to get his Spanish GCSEs for Latino girls. Hey, that sounds like something I might have said, to be honest with you. But back when I was doing my French lessons and stuff like that, if they told me how it would actually benefit me when I'm an adult in the future, I would have taken my French classes a lot more serious. A lot more serious. You know what I mean? And now that the world is like more global, there's definitely opportunities everywhere. And I do think, looking back, I would have taken learning languages a lot more serious back in school. Looking back, a lot more serious. But moving on, you guys, I'm on for the next 10 minutes, 9 minutes now, and then I'm gone. I'm out. I'm dusted. I'm not coming back. Got another super chat. Respect, man. JJ Bridge, big up Nini, love the growth, brother. Been working from way back to keep up the great work. I do appreciate that, man. And like I said, I feel very hungry, very motivated. I'm just doing all the positive steps in my life right now to just make sure I can, you know, make the content that I'm proud of and make content that's banging for you guys. You know what I mean? I just want to get back to that type of level, be proud of what I'm doing. I want to do a lot more. I want to bring out the Q&A stream. I mean, not Q&A streams, the call-in shows. I want to bring back doing more guest stuff. I want to hopefully at some point this year as well do more interviews with like football players and people in the industry as well too. Like I did the Chalobah one and I didn't do another one since, but I mean, I definitely hopefully can still make those connections work again and just try and, you know, put out some more like insightful stuff as well, because that's why you guys watch me. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, we all have let that football talk on our group chats, on our phone, on our WhatsApp, you know what I mean? But sometimes just want to get something a bit insightful every now and then, and you know, I'm glad that I can bring that for you guys, to be honest. Tonight, CFC, potentially tonight, you know what, I'll definitely give you a message on the PS app, just to let you know. But moving on to Ollie Taylor, big ups for quitting the shrub. I was with you for 10 years. I still tweak if someone says want to bun a zoot, but if someone said, do you want to be high right now? Very few situations where I'd be down 100%, man. 100%. Like, yeah, like I haven't even, nothing for the past 3 months right now. Like, I was making some steps as well too earlier during the year as well. Like, yeah. I need to eradicate that stuff right now. Now my vice is adult stuff, like having your bit of wine every now and then. That's what I'm doing right now, man. That's what I'm doing right now. But moving on, Ollie Glanville, what's good, bro? If Juventus need to sell to fund a move for Vlahovic, would you sell one of our attackers to fund a move for Chiesa? I like Chiesa, but to be honest with you, Ollie, bro, I do prefer Dybala more. I do think Dybala is one of those guys where he's one of the best players for me, but if he's in a team that's in the moment, that's in the spotlight like that, his game's gonna be appreciated a lot more. If there's one guy I'm taking from Juventus, it would be Dybala. I like Chiesa, but I just think for me, I think he could score more. But then it's just like down the left, we have Pulisic, we have Mount. Don't want to see Chiesa playing on the right hand sides. He can do that, but probably not. I mean, he is a player that can play across the front three. He could be very useful. He could be a guy that even replace like Timo Werner to be the guy to play over Lukaku like that. But then where does that leave Havertz? Where does that leave many other players, to be honest? It's definitely a difficult one. It's a difficult one. But I guess I'll have to speak to you afterwards to just hear your full thoughts and opinions on that one, to be honest. But you guys, I'm on for literally 6 more minutes and I'm gone. CFC Nini, I used to bun a lot. Tell me to quit, please. 3.5 a day, bro. That's just taking a toll on your bank account. But I can respect that. But bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. You know what I had to do? I had to delete numbers. That's it. You know whose number you have to delete off your phone? You have to delete his number quickly. Delete his number. It makes things 10 times easier. But moving on to Super K Nini, do you believe in Rudiger staying at the bridge for a few more seasons? Yeah, for sure. Let's hope the club just give the guy the money he deserves, in my opinion, because he's consistently played at such a level right now that I think it's kind of unfair not to be made one of the high, you know, the high earning players now. I think he's kind of shown that with his hierarchy in the squads and how he's performing in the field as well too. Moving on to Derek F. Thoughts on the toxicity on Twitter about Hudson-Odoi? I think unfortunately, like, when you're just a young football player, you're just going to be literally in the spotlight for anything toxic, to be honest. I do think that there's this thing with social media now, which I didn't really know before I went on Twitter, but this obsession of like being fans of players, you know. I understand you can appreciate them, but I definitely feel like it does go like a step too far ahead. It creates like kind of like non-stop divisions unnecessarily, especially like from players that are playing in your own team as well too. And you know, it's just like people have more energy for an individual player than the actual team and the actual squads and the actual club. So it doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. But T1, what is your starting 11 in a 4-3-3? I'm guessing for this season, obviously Mendy in goal, fullbacks Reece, Ben, in defense Rudy, Silva. In midfield, I'm going for Kante. Ahead of him, Kai, Mason Mount. Up front, Lukaku. On the right, Ziyech. And on the left hand side, either one of Hudson or Pulisic, to be honest. You gave me the question. I definitely saw it working. I think Kante, I've always thought ideally as the seasons go on, I prefer him to move deeper. I think Kante's kind of shown that he can play in a deeper role. This whole notion that he can't play DM, I don't know. I get that he's never been used as one. That doesn't mean that he can't play as one. And I think that as, let's say he's like 32 or 33, I think it'd be nice for him to maybe move a bit deeper. I think naturally as players get older too, they do move deeper and deeper in different positions. And I think having his like expertise, his experience there alongside the next gen, playing alongside him, I think that could be a great thing to have, to be honest. But yeah, ideally I'd like to see Kai on the right hand side of a midfield three. Him linking up alongside Ziyech could be quite exciting. And I think Kai getting on the ball and showing more of what he can do could be really good to see, to be honest. But moving on, M. Marath, I have burned out everything on Leeds and I've been depressed for a long time. Dang, man. Sorry to hear about that, bro. I guess you got to find some external things to try and take your mind off that. To, you know, things that can like activate like your mental energy as well too. Like it always comes down for me, you know, you always find something unhealthy as a way to cope with something, and I guess finding a way to cope with whatever issue or demon you have is the best thing to do to move on past anything, to be honest. But again, I'm giving very superficial advice right now. I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna be gone in the next 2 minutes. Marco M. Nini, are there any updates on the stadium development? Nothing right now at this point in time. Finza, yo Nini, your vid early on today was class, mate. Really enjoyed it. I really appreciate that you did, man. Really glad you liked it. Took me a long time to make this video today. I made the whole script last night once I finished the review. So I didn't go to bed till 1 AM yesterday, and then I had to spend all this time doing the graphics, the format. The video got taken down because originally I used clips, which I know was a bit risky of me, but I thought if I used clips it would make the video bang a bit more, but I couldn't use them, so then I had to be creative and I had to use all those graphics that you saw instead, so, which I think worked out okay in the end. So give you some insight behind there. Super K, finally Nini, where do you think CFC will be at the end of the season? I think we'll be seconds in the league, and I think we would have won the Carabao Cup. I think we'll win the Club World Cup, and I think we'll get to the semis of the Champions League, and I think we could win the FA Cup as well too. So I see it being a season of trophies, and I think next season, then we'll get the league. We need to sign a few more players, and when we do, then we will be league title winners for sure. Moving on, did you watch the Charlie Masunda interview? I haven't seen all of it just yet, but I will go to watching the whole thing. 100%. Yeah. I know Charlie Masunda is. I think it's kind of harsh that the club letting him go, especially with the injuries he sustained and suffered. I need to watch the interview to get the full context and understand like his side on things, and you know some of the things that happen behind the scenes, I guess. Flocky Ron, what's your thoughts on news that Tuchel wants Des? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. I could see the role he fits. I know he's the Ajax fullback. He can definitely translate his game playing for us. But reports are always saying Tuchel wants this guy and that guy. It's not always the case, to be honest. So let's see what happens there. Sahara Pappy, what you saying, bro? What's up, Brody? Nini, you my guy. But that FIFA game last night had me weak. Shout out, bro. Like, I just knew, like, with how pitiful I was using Lukaku up front, I just knew that I jinxed Lukaku in real life. Like, that's the story of my life, basically. You know, I don't know how these guys play FIFA and stream at the same time. Like, when I play FIFA, I need to be in that zone. And I can only play like maybe 3-4 games tops, because the game is just there's too much going on at once, and I just get burnt out after a while. But moving on, Zaki Mahmood, what you saying, bro? Nini's back. What am I seeing? Gamers, Nini, do you remember me from back in the day? Bro, if I've been real with you, no. I think maybe if I look back at a few videos, maybe, but it's not speaking to me right now, man. Wally Waldo, he wasn't Buds, but he always played behind the striker. They had always in the middle of the park. He was never a 9 for Leverkusen. I'm guessing you're talking about Havertz. Yeah, Havertz wasn't an 8 at Leverkusen, but he did play on like the right side of a 3-4-3. He has played as a false 9 for them as well too. He has played as a 10 in one of his big seasons. And it's weird because like when I was doing the videos when we were like linked with Kai, like he didn't really even have like a set position like that. I just think it's like the areas in which you use him. And I definitely think he does do well with space. I think that we have to get the best out of him, to be honest. I think it's been like nearly 2 years, not quite. We've only got maybe like the tiniest of glimpses, to be honest. I still haven't seen full Havertz right now, and I hope I do, to be honest. I really hope I do. So yeah, I'll definitely, bro, if I'm free later, I'll definitely holler you. I need to eat something after the stream. Needy, would you play Dybala on the right wing in a 4-3-3 potentially? But listen, if Tuchel decided I want to keep with the back three, I think Dybala could be one of those guys to play with like a Mount and a Lukaku. I think that could definitely work, to be honest with you guys. And gamers, I was literally the most active member in your live streams with Joe Tweedy. I think I should remember that, man. You haven't like changed your name or nothing, have you? Apologies for not just like remembering straight away. My bads. I'm sure like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely believe you. And I feel kind of bad for not fully remembering. But on that awkward note, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up for sure now. Keep it moving. I said I was going to leave 2 minutes ago and I'm still here. And if I don't go now, I'm going to be here for another hour and I just can't do it now. It's like going to be 12 o'clock soon. I need to eat. I need to rest for a little bit, and I need to wake up early again tomorrow and get back for making content. So you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. I want to do more of these. It's been fun talking. Don't know how the stream descended into how it did in the end, but that's what it used to be like back in the day. The streams would just go here, they go there, they go everywhere, to be honest. But you guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. But I guess it's time for all of us to go to bed now because we've got busy days tomorrow. So you guys, on that note, I'm QnA FC. This is Blue Lions TV. Catch you guys later, some more videos.